Happy Easter to everybody. I hope you all have a great Easter and you enjoy those chocolate eggs. I went to the English supermarket here in the Algarve yesterday to buy a few Easter eggs and I bought a couple. Didn't see Dillian White there because he's obviously in training and training hard. No, seriously, I've just watched the media interaction with the press, and from both fighters, it was interesting to see Dillian taking part. He's coming up into fight week. Someone's advised him, I suppose, to get involved, or that was his plan. Wait till fight week and then do what I've got to do, so no one can accuse me of not taking part in the build up to the fight. He's locked himself away for 6 weeks. He's longer than 6 weeks. He's had his training camp here in the Algarve with Harold Knight. If I was be asked who was the most positive at the press conference and who had the best answers, I have to say Tyson Fury. There is something about Tyson that I can't put my finger on. His mental strength is unbelievable. The way he interacts with the press, the way he responds. And this was a different Tyson. This was a more calm Tyson. There was none of the swear words coming out of him. Every question was answered very calmly, very clear and well. Dillian, he was harping on about things that Tyson's done. Asked Tyson this, asked Tyson that. About the sparring. To be honest, sparring, that doesn't matter. You know, I was in training camp with Lennox and I see a couple of sparring partners get the better of Lennox in a couple of rounds. It depends on the day, how you feel in the gym, if you really want to spar. You know, sometimes a fighter doesn't want to spar and he's been pushed to spar by his trainer. So whatever happens in a sparring gym or an amateur ring doesn't count when they step into that ring on April the 23rd. Am I sitting on the fence? Not really. I still haven't decided who I'm going to go with. What I've seen so far, I think Tyson's confidence is really high. He's looking forward to this fight. I think we'll be in for a surprise in this week in the build-up to the fight. Will Dillian be at the press conference, which is normally on a Thursday, isn't it, or a Wednesday? I can't remember now. And the weigh-in on obviously he'll be at the weigh-in on a Friday. Will he do a face-to-face? Is it his his tactics not to interact with Fury, so Fury can't get into his head? I like the response what Fury was asked when they asked him about what would you say to Dillian White. He went, till I see him stand in front of me, I don't really know, till I look into the man's eyes. And that is a good answer, because you can, when you look into a man's eyes, you can see if there's fear. You can see if you can intimidate that man. You know, people said Mike Tyson won a lot of fights at press conferences. Yeah, I know Lennox Lewis. I saw Andrew Galotta absolutely freeze at the press conference when that fight was made. And I saw a couple of other, Michael Grant freeze as well, when everyone was tipping Michael Grant. So this week will be an interesting build-up. But, you know, I have to say, Fury's answers in his media section were very good. I take my hat off. Dillian's were what you would expect. He's trained hard, he's trained well. Harold Knight will not leave any corner unturned. Will have researched everything he needs. But, you know, if you know Tyson Fury, none of us know what Tyson Fury is going to step in the ring. Is it going to be Tyson on the back foot? Is it going to be Tyson that's going to move around the ring? Is it Tyson that's going to cut the ring off? Is it Tyson that's going to come and meet Dillian? And again, can Dillian change from that forward fighter that he is? Because, you know, Dillian only knows to go forward. I've never seen Dillian stepping back. Never seen Dillian sort of boxing. He is like a juggernaut, really. A tank, let's say. Just he likes to land his big punches. He does have a reasonable jab, but will his jab reach Fury? You know, and when you think of it, Fury 6'8", 6'7", I'm not sure, will be punching down. I was interested to hear about the golfing, because, you know, if he does, and that's true, turning and driving on the golf course, he is getting more power into his punches, because let's remember, the power of the punch comes from the turning of the waist and the hips, and pushing off on the back leg. And Fury will be punching down, so that will give him a lot more leverage. I think the longer the fight goes, the more chance Dillian has. That's my belief. But as I said earlier, Dillian has to work for 3 minutes every round. Can he do that? Can he stay on top of Tyson for 3 minutes and make Tyson work with him? If he can close the gap so Tyson can't use that leverage, he stands a chance. If he can get inside and work. You know, I remember Emmanuel Stewart saying to Lennox on no, it wasn't Michael Grant. I can't remember which fight. But there was a fight, he said, you know, and he used to always say this, he said, do you know what? To bring down a big tree, you've got to cut the roots. The roots of a fighter are his legs. So if you take his body away, his legs will give away. And maybe trying to out-jab Fury will not be the answer. Maybe it'll be just getting in close and keep hacking away at that body. Throw everything at that body. Head on Tyson Fury's chest and keep punching. We'll see if Tyson can deal with that. But it's an interesting fight, isn't it? It's 94,000 people at the arena. I don't think Tyson sold the fight at himself, like he's claiming it, like he did all the credit. You know, it's a fight the British public want to see. 2 British fighters fighting for the World Heavyweight Championship. It doesn't happen very often in our lifetime. This is the second one in my lifetime, because obviously Lennox Lewis and Frank Bruno. Could there be a third one? The winner of this meeting, AJ? We'll see. You know, I remember once, we never had any world champions for 100 years. Along come Lennox Lewis. And then the British fighters are like red buses. You don't see one for ages, then they all come along. We had Lennox Lewis, then Frank Bruno, AJ, we've had and Tyson Fury, you know. And you've got to throw in, I suppose, Herbie Hyde. Herbie Hyde did hold a version of one of the world titles. And there was Michael Bent, if people remember him. Herbie Hyde and Michael Bent at Millwall Stadium. The least attended world championship in history. Poor Millwall. I remember the chairman of the time calling me up and asking me what he thought about the fight. And I went, do you know what? Barry Hearns has done his usual trick. Barry Hearns could sell sand to the Arabs. He has sold you a world championship fight that will not fill your stadium. And they were giving tickets away. Millwall took a bath for that title fight, unlike Wembley on the 23rd of April. Yep. The history of boxing is interesting, but history will be made on the 23rd of April. Will Tyson Fury change his style completely? Will he meet Dillian White to white? Dillian face to face? Will Dillian be able to work and outwork Tyson Fury? He definitely won't outbox Tyson Fury. And if they try to outbox him, they might as well not even turn up. Anyway, we'll continue with this week's build-up. Interesting to see if White will be at the press conference. If I was advising him, I'd turn up, but I'd turn up in a different way to what people would expect me to. I would, I would advise him to be there, but I would handle a press conference totally different to how you normally handle a press conference. But that's my brain probably thinking over time. Because you're not going to break Tyson Fury down mentally. There's no point in getting involved in a battle of words with Tyson Fury. because you just can't beat them that way. So roll on this week. Happy Easter all.